Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you another one of my games here on Steps of War. This is the first match out of the preliminary 10, so I just want to say I think I was just a little unrattled and unnerved. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, and I wasn't really playing as well as I normally do. Feel free, everyone out there, to give your comments, your opinions, what I should have done, what I shouldn't have done. I'll share my thoughts as well. Also, I want to do a little bit more shoutcasting. This lately has been a little bit more commentary slash shoutcasting a little bit, just because I already know the outcome of the game. I know the strategy. I know what I'm thinking. It's hard not to add those additional thoughts. One of the things that I want to say off the bat is whenever you are mining, make sure that you change your rally points every single time. Your first 6 mineral patches are going to be very evenly distributed, and then after that make sure you rally to a mineral patch that is not mined, and then move it to another rally patch that is not mined. That way you don't have probes or any of your workers trying to move around. Unfettered, a pretty good player. He's in the Platinum League, so all of my games from now on should be fairly decent. And I think that's just really got to me, and I didn't know how I wanted to play this game. Right now, we still have that Chrono Boost still being used, and now working in that great way. I'm not quite sure if you want to use that Chrono Boost, unless you're always consistently producing probes at this point. So that may be something you do or do not consider right now. Also, taking a look over here, I am doing that typical front door build, and my computer is freezing just a little. There it goes. So yeah, a little bit of a freeze. Apparently Blizzard is aware of the i7 processors freezing a little bit. I do have a 920, an i7 920. It is not overclocked. It's actually on par clocked. I did not want to have to increase my fan speed as my computer is in my room, and yeah, it just gets a little bit noisy sometimes. Right now, trying to use that SCV, trying to do as much scouting as I can. Here I am just running around, making sure, figuring out if he is in fact getting an assimilator. He is getting an early assimilator. So early assimilators means that he is going to try to open off into tech right now. And now I see that he is using the Chrono Boost in order to try to speed build that Zealot. So that Zealot now being sped built, and we'll be able to come out and harass that SCV in just a little bit right now. On the other hand, I have my Marine coming out, and that probe also himself trying to do some scouting as well, trying to keep track of what I'm doing. He sees that I'm getting that refinery, so we pretty much have the same build, except for it's Terran versus Protoss at this point. Zealot now coming out trying to chase that SCV. SCV able to escape, taking 1 round of attacks right now. My front door is sealed, so I move my Marine back over here. Gonna take out this probe. Nowhere to go, gonna try to escape, and that Marine's just gonna get out of my house. I'm gonna shoot you into oblivion here. Let me turn on hit points, and there you go, down goes that probe. So 1 probe, 1 morale victory for me right there. So here are the current counts. I have 16 SCVs to my opponent's 15, and right now workers, and I have a single SCV just going around the map trying to make sure that no Zealots are coming out anywhere. Based upon the Steps of War, this is also the first time I played this map. It might actually be better to try to move out into this area right here. There is this whole entire high brush coverage as well, so your natural expansion is a little bit easier to take. I haven't played this map. I think an additional reason why I'm a little bit not just playing on my game. I don't have a real strategy. I was altogether pretty much lost. Also, whenever you call your mule, make sure you click it on a specific mine patch. If you do not, the mule will just sit there for a little while until you actually move it over. So I didn't realize this. I called down a mule, and it did not actually do anything until I started to actually physically had to move it and mine it. So there's some precious minerals lost for me. I'm trying to go for a secondary barracks here, perhaps trying to come out with a new strategy, and I'm now moving out a single Marine. I want to do some scouting, figure out what the strategy is going to be, and I'm going to quickly see that it is going to be triple gateway. So Unfettered and moving into that early game with triple gateways and getting warp gates as well. So those warp gates going to be very powerful, going to be able to deploy anywhere in the field, and now using that warp in around, and also getting stalkers as well. So stalkers am now getting warped into play right there. So 2 stalkers and a single Zealot against my 1 Reaper and my 1 Marine. So I would definitely lose a fight right now. Now getting that secondary gas. I have a Marine trying to come in. I'm trying to move him back out. I actually wanted to see what the buildings were, and I think I was able to see this triple gateway. I'm not 100% sure, and now getting that additional pylon into position right now. I have two Reapers, and I should have really harassed with these Reapers, but I took a look at the map. There is no real way to use cliff jumpers on this particular map, as long as you have the high ground, your high ground units are going to be very close to those units. So once again, inexperience on the map, not knowing that Reapers are not very good on this particular matchup. I'll have to remember that for a future reference. Anyways, getting the single factory now, moving myself into that tier 2, getting into that middle game. And what I realize is that there is, in fact, an expansion over here that is guarded by indestructible rocks. If I go ahead and just float a command center over there, I can try to set up an expansion over here on the bottom right-hand corner in order to get an expansion and try to, get that economic advantage, and perhaps economic advantage would turn into a military and hopefully the game for me. Sentry also being into play. The Sentry, as you remember, was originally the Disruptor. So the Disruptor being changed over here. So that's the Sentry right there. And that Sentry, so that's a very nice unit combination right there. 2 Stalkers, and the Stalkers there for those armored units, and a couple of Zealots. The Zealots also have that charge upgrade, or should be getting that charge upgrade. I think, yeah, Twilight Council. Oh, wait, where's that Twilight Council? I thought I saw a Twilight Council earlier. Oh, that's later on when I do some additional scouting. So yeah, more units just being warped into play and just sitting right here. We're going to go ahead and load up 5 SCVs into here. The command center loading up SCVs just feels a little bit weird. Perhaps I need to lift up the command center and then pick them up like a dropship, and then that will feel a little bit more natural right now. Command center now flying to that bottom right-hand corner in order to set up that expansion right now. Very, very large army. Army sizes, if I look at... Can I look at total our food? Army is 43 to 58, so my opponent definitely has a much larger army, but I'm sitting on almost 1,000 extra minerals compared to my opponent, so that's really my fault for not spending my minerals fast enough. Yes, I am going to start trying to do a double factory build a little bit more, start producing a little bit more Marines early in the game, perhaps even some Helions as I'm getting that secondary factory up, in order to in order to get a larger size army and be able to mass a little bit more right now. I have that starport in there to try to get some medevacs since I have such a large infantry build right now. Also, the Marauder is one of those units that's armored and it's armored, biological, and I don't know if it's yeah, armored and biological, so the medevac can in fact heal them, so the medevac will in fact be very useful there. So I go ahead and I move my units out as well, and I'm going to go ahead and just use the army on the top right hand corner so I can just generally see an observer in my base. Oh wow, I didn't even know that. So right now, Unfettered getting an observer in my base and just sitting there with it. I do not have an engineering bay, and Unfettered is pretty much just Unfettered. I think just because I know the outcome of the game, I feel that he has such an advantage on me psychologically at this point. I don't know what I want to be doing right now. Marauder is still being produced. I didn't research the stim packs or the nitro upgrades or even the combat shields. The combat shields also very important. Now getting that siege tank, trying to fortify that higher ground. Probably should move that siege tank right into this position and then try to move out a little bit right here. So we'll figure out how this works. We have that single observer up in the air. Yeah, observer keeping pretty good tabs on me, 57 to 64. I'm going to go ahead and head back to the unit so you can see the individual unit counts, and I'll remember to try to click over here in the top right hand corner. I have 59 food. Clicking on that observer. Come on. The opponent has 72 food, so that's it right there. Here I have that the command center has landed. I have not unloaded that cargo yet. I will start mining in just a moment. I have scanned out the nexus over here, or I will be scanning out with the Comstat or Comstat ability over here at my orbital command. Orbital command has these 3 abilities. It's the traditional scanner sweep, the extra supplies, and that call down of that mule. I think I've been using the mule a little bit. Oh, yeah, just using the mule just a little bit for now. Observer just up in the air, just keeping track of my army. I should probably have scanned, notice the robotics facility, and note there's that Twilight Council. Robotics facility builds that observer. The observer does not need to have an observatory anymore in order to be built. So yeah, that's that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the game right now and say stay tuned for part 2 of this replay.